A huge shout out to the overthinkers. An overthinker. He watches the show.
Hey, to the overthinkers. Shout out my friend too.
Thank you, overthinkers.
Keep inspiring the next generation.
Shout out to the overthinkers. Tanda kuphela. Much love, much love.
To my overthinkers, mamelo kuqhubeka kuyakhula nizinja nikhokho yazini as overthink siyaovachi yazini
I'm stealing that. I've stolen that one. I've stolen it. I'm stealing that. I've stolen that one. I've stolen it.
Hey, welcome everybody to the Overthinking Football Show. My name is Joseph Mokwena. I am your host, and this show, man, is the place where we get to speak local football, African football, and every now and then we go over to Europe, guys. This is a very interactive show where you can join me and actually jump in and we can have conversations about whatever it is that is happening. If you want to add your voice to the show and join one of my panels, you have to do that by following me on TikTok and joining me now while I'm live on TikTok, those who are watching on YouTube. Today, I wanted to speak about the national teams. I wanted to speak about national teams because we have some national teams that are doing some incredible things. Bafana Bafana, of course, continues on their journey to qualify for the AFCON. But we have an under-20 team that has done incredible, but nobody's talking about them. Nobody cares. So I want us to speak about these national teams, these two national teams. We will get into Banyana as well on another day closer to their games. But we've got such an incredible lineup of teams and such an incredibly great performing bunch of national teams, but we don't seem to be talking about them. The under-20s, of course, won their COSAFA Cup, the regional competition, where now they are going to represent South Africa at the under-20 AFCON. They've qualified for the under-20 AFCON. The nice thing about this squad is that they have quite a couple of people that we know, Bomfundo Vilakazi, Boshandre Campbell, and those guys. But today, I want us to speak about them, but also speak about what are their prospects. Some of these players, a lot of them come from Kaizer Chiefs, for example, but there aren't that many that are featuring for the first team or on the bench of the first team that are at the under-20 level. You see Boshandre Campbell have gone overseas and stuff like that. Are we grooming these guys right? And after all these years of complaining, where's the under-20, I'm a cheetah, I'm a kluk, all of that stuff, we finally have a team, and now we don't know what to do with them. So if you do want to jump onto the show, please feel free to press the button at the bottom of the screen that says multi-guest. It's got a blue figure hugging a pink figure. Jump inside. Let's have a conversation about our national teams and how well they're doing. For once, guys, can we please, man, be happy about these guys? So let me see who's here so we can start with the first panel. And guys, let's try to get to 50,000 likes. I want to get to 50,000 likes today. So please tap the screen. It is free. And also Monday to Thursday, 7 p.m. the show is here. And if Kaizer Chiefs, Mamelodi Sundowns, Orlando Pirates, Bafana Bafana, or Banyana Bastaili, UWC, if they're playing in the Champions League and some for representing the country, I will be here doing watch-alongs where we can watch together and you can share with me some of your analysis. Very, very interactive show we have here. So let's get into the first panel. Let me just make sure we're good here. Black Viper, how are you, my brother?
Sure. I'm good, and you, OT?
No, I'm good. Black Viper, come on, the under-20 man, you win the trophy. Rebonibo Mfundo Vilakazi, Boshandre Campbell. How do you feel about that team and what they've done?
I do good Bafana Bafana.
Ke proud ka ntwana tsela ma di ngopotsa ka lekutlo conversation ya ho qala ra o bua ama gluk ba ngopotsa na kontseo man. Like, we used to be proud of these young boys. Mambolo used to be football in Mzanzi. There was no business in it. It was just pure football. Like, people were doing it for the thrill, man. What I like about Amagluk Luknek, they used to score even more goals. Like, we were used to seeing South Africa score more than 5 goals. Like, we kind of miss those days now, man. I don't know what's happening in Kabola. Yeah, but I'm proud of them. But it's not surprising for Bona, but it's interesting. They are used to it.
Can I ask though? I'm looking at some of these names And I'm wondering if these names are going to be anywhere near the PSL now. Pela, Karina Kutsena, under 20, isn't this the time when they should be moving into the PSL? And a lot of them are not there outside of a couple.
Yeah, but like they should be there for these first teams, stay individuals, stay but we're not really seeing that because now, hey, the coach I'm not sure the planets are in whether they fear to play these young boys or is that some like the instructions that come from the higher ups from the team, but we don't get to see them like like hanya. We just get to see once how mentioned Fundo Vilakazi, like he's one of them, but we don't get to see a lot of them from the development.
Yeah,
It says I don't know. It's something looking like the team in one of the higher ups. They do allow but like or it's something looking like it does scare them. What's again? We can't afford to lose, especially more the big teams in the big three. Like now like but I'm gonna lose up because especially like loss it's expected it's highly expected like you might lose the important games like Boyo Cup finals. So I'm thinking like fear and so that's why they take too long on
How do we fix it? Do you think that the DDC is enough?
Yes, man, like the DDC is enough because some of the players are along Sundowns, ne?
Yeah.
Sundowns has produced one of the players that one from DDC. I can't remember them all, but yeah, like you see what they're doing for Mamelodi Sundowns. You get to see Mfundo Vilakazi, you get to see Relebogile Mofokeng from Pirates, even Lele Pasa. Like I think he's from there, from development.
Okay,
So they need to be more exposed. Yeah, I think for Bona, or the big teams in, they need to like prove it to the point of the teams they belong on. They can't ignore them anymore. So I think like Lebona like on the pitch was like coach get na owner promoted to the first team. And what I would like to ask, like more importantly, ne ntwana tsa gona tsa dlalang DDC ba tlwello dlala bolo ya showboat. That's one. Because now re dlala bolo eseng the rules tse pa se di tshintshilwe ke FIFA. And now the rules tse tleng ka FIFA, they will not favor them. Hans bazala ka bolo ena ha ke hane bolo ba zalang e sharp, but Hans bazala ntho ya di showboat team body dribbling, you can dribble and go past defenders and make scoring opportunities, but they must at least slow way down into ya showboat because I know Bafa that kind of access to the first team. First team in 1 year. Imagine how can dribble or like in a derby. Yeah, like your career you lose too much points. So they must at least try half land to the showboat team, but sharp football excellence. Yes, you can dribble past defenders and do a good job, but how about half the showboat team?
Can I ask you, Black Viper, do you see a problem with the fact that fine, most of these players are coming from DDC, mara harebone batho man from ko NFD, harebone batho from ko SAB, where maybe even age-wise, I get there are rules down there. They should be playing. Should there be more players coming from there, or can't they compete with DDC?
Yeah, that one, like it's from my perspective, I think it's an issue. And these lower divisions, they don't get too much exposure because on TV that much. We don't get to see a lot of games. Like sometimes we are lucky because one night games from the prelim games, like the promotional games.
Yeah.
And then season these lower divisions like there's not been exposed too much. So I'm thinking but by investing chelete more leaking like South Africa as a whole, have I invested that much who these lower divisions? That's why it like nane ke qala ho bona like ke nkella hlohong ba ibitsang the Motsepe Foundation. Like nane ke sa etse up until 2 seasons ago. So you want to like some of the lower leagues, like the lower divisions, they don't get too much exposure, and we should know the only thing we get to hear like but we bone magezi etsang, and then like some of us we don't have that information. So I'm thinking bolong like if you're not exposed that much, no one knows anything about you.
I want to bring in Kumo for time. Thank you so much, Black Viper. Let me go to Kumo. Kumo, welcome to the show. How are you?
Sharp, and how are you? But I'm also concerned. Where's Luke Bartman?
Batman, I can see. Oh, I can.
Is he injured?
I'm not sure. Actually, I'm not sure.
Okay.
Kumo, how do you feel about these under-20s and what they've done, winning the COSAFA, going through to the under-20 AFCON?
Let's talk about what they've done. They've played every game without conceding. Guys, we don't give these boys enough credit for the achievement they've done. You wouldn't have known Hore they had like 2 weeks to assemble their squad. The way they've been playing, it's class. When you see the likes of Mabena, like we've been saying, who will replace Tshwane? I want Ekwana Lodge for the interim, or we're gonna get a Maseko. No man, like Mabena reminds me so much of Tshwane, and you can see the influence. Even though he doesn't get to play as often as he should play, like his counterparts, like your Mufugeng. But you can see Horine, man, this boy is mentored. The way he touches the ball, the way he attacks, the way he dribbles. He likes taking players on. Even the way he's so composed. What I like about this guy, Mabena has been a boy that used to be more of a striker or a false nine rather, right? So he used to be like the top goal scorer. Now he's more of a playmaker. He creates chances. He's always playing for the team. So if we having such a player,
can you please mute
having such a player in our teams, Korea wants he's doing it, so we're gonna have a lot of stars shining through. Like look at the chances that he created for your I don't even know how to pronounce his name even now. Shame. I'm gonna say Shame, but you know what I'm talking about, ne? Even about the boy. Even Campbell, like he was just class. I'm only singling him out because he's my favorite player. I don't know if you guys can see what I'm based, aka biased, but no, like he really needed BT to commended on his efforts. Ne? Also, man, that boy Lukaku, oh man, the future is bright. But I wanna say something to you guys. Let's be realistic, ne? By the way, I was born in the 2000s allegedly. I want to find out something. Noira Halang in the past, the young boys like your Jabupules, because I know he wasn't the only one playing. There was a group of other people, his age group, where they absorbed in the PSL. Because in the past, there was no DDC. You were lucky to get the reserve league. So what happened to those guys who were in that Jabupule, Junior Khanye situations? What happened?
Funny enough, there were a lot of them that were actually absorbed. You used to find the younger teams like your Ajax Cape Towns and people like that. Obviously, not at the rate that everybody goes through, but around the league, they used to be actively playing at 19, 20, 21. So if I remember correctly, there was a lot of youth there, and then the youth became the older statesmen. But then, Kumo, what do you do then with absorbing of these players? How do you make sure that a lot of them get a chance? How would you go about that?
No, that's the thing. I mean, like, the league can only do so much. So, are you saying we should get them a banner and replace Tshwane because of youth? So, it's a balancing act. Like, to go into a team like a Sundowns, Orlando Pirates, even a chip to a certain extent, you need people that are superstars, marquee signings, experienced, world class, African class, especially now. Because with the PSL, it makes it lucrative for people to stay in the PSL and not go abroad. And the reality is we've got 16 team guys. We've got 16 team in the NFD. Not everyone will be a professional player. And you know what? And that is not a bad thing. It means we've got a lot of talent, and the people that are making it through to the PSL and the NFD are the best. well, it's supposed to be like that, but we know what some people buy their way to PSL clubs. But yeah, so
Kumo,
I don't know. So
are
that
you
is why
worried
young
that-
school. Yeah.
Huh. Sorry, I wanted to ask you, are you worried at all that we're not seeing then the youngsters in the NFD? Is DDC a high enough level? Shouldn't we be seeing more of these players coming from the NFD or the league below, or even just going there from DDC?
Yeah, Mara, you forget Torluko NFD. It's also games full of consequences. People want to play in the Nedbank Cup. People want to get promoted to your PSL. So, OT, as much as you want to, promote these kids, as a club owner, are you seriously gonna have a full squad? Look, Batman, Bana, and Orbana they must go play against the Sundowns. Maybe that is why the DDC was created, like, to give these boys a chance. Because, guys, let's a PSL to make something for these boys, and we can't really like dictate or they should pay. Just because you are young when you're good, sharp, or go for all the other avenues, go some other leagues, Botswana. I'm just saying, we can't absorb everyone, guys, and that is a fact.
Let me go
Which
to
is sad.
Gustavo. Gustavo, welcome to the show. How are you?
Sure, what's it?
Man, Gimnandi. Gustavo, man, Dallas Kala. Where's the under 20? Where's the under 23? Nabawi, Namara, Asnandaba. How do you feel about this team and what they did?
I would just nenda, but it's like na hype. I would just nenda, but na hype. Yeah, and the game lawa ish. They're not marketed properly, you know, and you look at the viewership and where they are hosted, you know, the competition in COSAFA, you know, support, man, support, and it kills these boys because they perform so well in the tournament, and it would be nice to have eyes on them, you know, it would be nice to have eyes on them. Some of them would probably get moves, you know, whether it's outside the country or to the bigger teams in the country or to some of the teams in the country. You know, because some of them, they play for teams like the lower teams. Let me just say, Buskukun, if I can put it like that. Let me just say that, as an example. And it's not easy for you to come up the ranks in a club like that, whereby, in terms of each coaching, as a coach, I can sponsor at risk. So you don't want to take that risk.
Yeah.
We are going to Ganjan. So exposure for the Bafana ayiko. And sometimes cuts actually good DDC, whereby you have to go try and revive your career somewhere, you know, maybe go on Tuzan, the Motsepe Foundation. But what the boys have achieved, it's actually good, and congratulations to them. You know, congratulations.
Gustavo, how do we stop it from that happening? Because we've had plenty of really talented under 20s, under 23s. Hey, umuntu disappear. All of a sudden, awusazi ukuthi umuntu kuphi, where they're playing, what happened. How do we stop that from happening?
We must. Here's the thing. Illegate to Ingani, man. Ingani, and we cannot count the Motsepe Foundation as much as they are doing well. You cannot. I know exposure Motsepe Foundation for young talent. Actually, especially if you're excellent, to go and play with Motsepe Foundation, it's sort of risky. You know, that's where you end up disappearing. And the solution to this is export the boys, man. Send the boys to Europe if you can. You know, do what Cape Town Spurs is doing. If you're a talent, that's what they are looking at, to market you to the biggest clubs. You know, that's what they are looking to do. You know, and you look at a lot of players. Now, Tashrik Matthews, he came to the ranks of Cape Town Spurs. Asmazi, all of a sudden, say amazi, oh, we are all on to Dortmund, Europe, so Sundowns, man. It's good. Export the boys, export as many talents as we can. You know, it saves our football, it saves this boys' careers, because it's tough to make the first 11, not to make the squad even. You know, for these big teams. You know, and your chances of you getting exported are through the big teams, the big three, if I can put it like that.
I want to ask you, how do you feel about DDC versus NFT? Shouldn't we be seeing more of these players maybe playing co-NFT? Or is DDC enough for them to be ready to play for the PSL teams or ready to make it into Bafana and things like that?
Okay, you go to Ilontuzana, NFT. The structures also for some of the teams, they are not as professional compared to the structures of DDC. You know, you don't have the eyes on you, like I said. The games are hardly broadcasted. We hardly see the games, you know, for our lower league. And that's where the DDC actually edges them because it motivates these boys. These boys they have the fans behind them. They are on TV. You know, they know what it takes. They are competitive and they are playing towards a big goal. You know, they are playing to play for the first team. So the idea is you could send some of these boys to a team like Tax. You know, send them on loans. That's what Sundowns does at times. Send some of these boys on loans to some of these teams. Maybe a 1 year loan or 6 month loan. You know, so that the boys gain some sort of to feel a different environment than to playing with their peers. You look at Urile Mfukeng, the reason why he hardly plays Kulontuzana, the choice disc is slightly a level above those boys. So you putting him there, it's like it's a waste. You look at the Chiefs boy, Ilontuzana, Chawala, that's what they used to do, just to gain match fitness. Mario Mbona Magada Uguti, uyazenzela man. Yabo uyazenzela, it's bonke bomfundo vilakazi bayazenzela uMabhena naye you see him playing lapho ukuthi man uMabhena man actually belongs in the first team, you know. So naleyo nkinga leyo whereby the viewership man, the sponsorship for Motsepe Foundation, and I wish it could be better. That's where we should be looking at actually than DDC. We should be looking at to improve that lower league and make it slightly more professional and harden the rules, because Canada, man, it's a bit tough, it's a bit tricky, allegedly.
Let me go to Hetzel. Welcome to the show. How are you?
Good evening, Mr. Oti, and all the guys in the panels, everyone watching. Kunjan Baf.
Nandi, man. I'd be even more Nandi if Manama the 28, man, they got a bit of shine. What is it about them that we're not taking notice of them? And how do you feel about what they just did?
Yo, I'm very proud. You know, I always try and follow soccer as much as I can, and sometimes it becomes painful to see Urin. It seems like with each and every year, the standard of football in South Africa and the talent of South Africa, it's not being taken seriously. Like it's being undermined. You see, like I think SAFA and these PSL teams should also take the initiative of each team. I don't know, these teams, they have the DDC side, right?
Yeah.
And the DD side is usually your under, it's almost
like under 19 so.
I think 17, 18, 19, around there, right? I think also each and every team should have an under 17 and an under 13. All these teams that are in the PSL, right? In that sense, it exposes these boys to competition early, right? And it also, they must also create a small league for them, just like the DDC side, because when they get into competition early, they become match ready. They get used to being in competitions, right? Also, the issue of DDC and NFD, like it's highly difficult to find a team going to NFD, going to take players there and put them in the PSL team. But it's simple to take a DDC player to put them in the first team because it's your team. You have invested there, right? In the DDC, there's no small pirates there. There's no Sundowns there. That's why a lot of teams. That's why you see and that's why you see when a team is promoted to the PSL, right, to the first division, they acquire new players. They replace the whole system to find out now there's only 2 players that they qualified to the first team with. It shows no man, there's a problem in the NFT, right? And for me, I think they must invest a lot of money in these small boys. It hurts me when a team like Pirates, Sundowns, Supersport, Kaizer Chiefs, when they need a striker, they have to go abroad. Where else here in South Africa, we have an overabundance of talent. We have a lot of talent, but because they are not match ready, they are not fit enough, or they are not used to the competition, or they are not exposed enough. You have to go abroad just to get a player We have a lot of players in South Africa that are talented. Yeah, so I think these things should also start from the grassroots. If each and every team have a small team, maybe from under 12, under 17, and then the DDC, and also make them play competitive football like Bafana Bafana, make Bafana Bafana of under 12, Bafana Bafana of under 15. Yeah, make them get used to playing with other teams out from abroad. They must start this thing young. Start them from the grassroots, invest money, and then from there, I think it will be easier to push them up. You know, when you're a child, you learn something when you're young. It becomes easier when you grow up because you are in the system already, other than introducing them in the system. You see, even now, coaches, they have to beg the national team coach for under 20. They have to beg coaches that are in the PSL to release some of the players to him so that they can be able to participate, because now it seems like there's a shortage of players, but there's no shortage.
Can I ask? The reason why I bring up the NFD isn't there a higher level of competition than the DDC? And if we really want to get players ready, DDC teams and NFD teams always complain about, we don't have money. Surely they have then the capacity to take players on from PSL teams, let's say, maybe to loan out and do it that way. Because I understand that DDC is on and all of that stuff is on TV. Mara, is it grown man competition for them to be ready? Or are we just taking the easy choice, if that makes sense?
For me, I don't think there is enough investment and exposure of the NFD. If you ask now a lot of football lovers, they will tell you, no, we don't even see those matches. Sometimes to see those matches, you have to go to the ground, right? And at the same time, I think the time that they are being played, those matches, sometimes they clash with PSL teams. There's no way I'm not going to watch an Orlando Pirates game and go and watch an NFT game. You understand?
That's true.
I think the way they schedule their schedule and the way the exposure, they need to improve on the exposure and the scheduling of those matches so that we can be able to support the NFD and the PSL team simultaneously. Because now there's that thing of matches are clashing, and it's not exposing the NFD. The NFD is not that much exposed. Like, we hardly see those teams on national TV. So that's why I think it becomes difficult also for coaches to see those players in the NFD so that they can maybe absorb them in their first team.
Hey, let me go to Jacaranda. Jacaranda, welcome to the show. How are you?
Welcome to the show. How are you?
Mr. OT.
I just want to make sure that there's no echo there.
Yeah, there's an okay. I can hear it.
Let's try again. Jacaranda, feel free to try and jump in again. Let me just make sure that also on my side, I'm not pulling too many things here. Hey. Okay, so this is what I wanna speak about. Khadi, I'm gonna put you onto the next panel. This is what I want to talk about. What is the point of the DDC then? The players are playing against under 17s, 18s, 19s. They're playing against each other. Yes, it's competitive, but is it at a level where a player can make a step up and go into the first team proper? And should the under 20 national team be pulling from players who are active in the DDC? Isn't it at this time where we need to be active, where we need the under 20 players to be active in an NFD, for example, where there's more competition, where there's harder competition, where you play against other veterans and older players, where you can grow, I think, a lot faster. So the reason why I'm asking is it not just an easy thing to say, Coach Mdaka reached into the NFD and reached into the DDC, took those players just because they're on TV. But maybe we should be making sure that those players are playing meaningful minutes. Let me go to Jacaranda. Jacaranda, let's try again.
Mr. OT.
Hey, I don't know what was happening there. Jacaranda, under 20s, won the COSAFA Cup. They're going through to the under 20 AFCON. How do you feel about that?
Congratulations to them, Mr. OT. I think our coaches, they really did a fantastic job, selecting the players. I was worried that the last time we played COSAFA, I was not really happy with the squad that we had. Yeah. So I think maybe they saw and they pick the right players to come and represent us, and it's a good thing. It's a good thing that these young players can win a competition, as early as young as they are. I think it's going to help us also going forward with producing young talent. It's a very good thing. It's a very good thing. I think we need more of this.
I want to ask you a different question.
Okay.
Should we be seeing a lot more of these players in and around that Bafana team?
Yeah, I think that's what we need to do, especially when we're playing friendlies. I think that's what we need. We need players that we know, are going to fit, in the future. Because remember, Abu Zwane, they're going to retire soon. Abu Williams, they're going to retire soon. Abu Mokwena, and so we need players that are coming in. You can see Abu Jayden Adams as Abu Chandra Kambal, Abu Mabena, Abu Litlaku. There's a lot. We need players, at least 4 or 5 that can play with the senior team to just get the feel and help us. I think it will be a good initiative.
How much of a problem is it that Coach Mtaga doesn't sit with Hugo Bruce on Hugo Bruce's team? Do you think that we should be doing that with national team coaches?
Yeah, we should. I think it should start from even if we have an under 15. I think it should start from there. Start as young as it can. To just get the mindset or the feel of what Hugo Bruce wants. I think Umdaga needs to sit down with the coach, with our senior coach, to just understand the philosophy of Hugo Bruce, what Hugo Bruce is all about. Because these players are our future. Like you said, we see them, doing good in this competition. After 2 years, you don't see them anymore.
Yeah.
You don't know where they're playing. Because we also have the very same problem but in our Banyana squad. I remember when I was watching COSAFA last year. Was it last year or early this year? I think I saw 5, 6 players that were good, but those players never made it in the national team. So you could see that there's no connection between the COSAFA and the national team. To try and get those players in our national team. So I think it's very important for them to connect with Hugo Bruce.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, Takarana, thank you so much. Guys, a question for the comments. Should an under 17 national team coach, under 19, under 20, under 23, should those coaches be a part of Hugo Bruce's team, or is that two separate teams that are that don't have much to do with each other? Should we leave it that way, or should there be a force in order to maybe force those players in? Let me bring in Mukhari. Mukhari, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm good, and you, dear?
I'm good. Mukhari, the under-20s winning a trophy, going through to AFCON. How do we feel about that team, and why isn't there more noise around them?
Oh, unfortunately, I didn't watch the game, but congratulations to them.
Is it an issue that maybe we didn't know that the games are on? Maybe they weren't as publicized?
You know what's going on? South Africa, they don't take football serious. How? Because you cannot expect to support PSL while you don't support the foundation.
Yeah.
ABC Motsepe is struggling. NFD is struggling. How can you show us, like on the TV, we can watch MDC. And MDC, mind you, is our reserve team for PSL. But you don't show this development. Your ABC Motsepe, I feel like ABC Motsepe was supposed to be televised. NFD was supposed to be televised so that the coaches, everyone can see those players. And then again, to show that they don't take it serious. Look at Dondol. Dondol, they end up selling the team. Why? Because you can't always take number 1 and you never go to the next stage. It's like you're playing and you spent a lot at ABC Motsepe.
Can I ask
Same to ladies soccer.
I want to ask something similar because, for example, with this under 20 team, a lot of them are coming from the DDC. Shouldn't the NFD and the ABC be filled with these under 20 players playing at maybe at a level that's higher than DDC? Why is it that we're not seeing that even?
Yes, that's what I was saying, because if it was televised, meaning the coaches can take the players from NFD, from ABC, from DDC to play for our squad, but we don't invest in that. Look at our women's soccer. Do you know that Hollywood, we know that is like our PSL as men's, but they don't take them serious. They don't get paid well.
Yeah.
So, which is not fair. It's not fair. So they don't invest when it comes to soccer. The only time they celebrate is when they celebrate PSL. After that, they will blame Bafana Bafana. Because PSL, mind you, everyone is playing. You can find a team whereby foreigners are playing. So when it comes to Bafana Bafana, where are you going to get those players? Because they're not here. You don't invest in them.
It's very interesting what you bring up here, Mukhari, but I want to ask you about the coaching. Should Mdaka be in Hugo Bruce's team? Should there be a link between all of these teams, or is it fine having him over there and Hellman over there with the other COSAFA team and Bruce is sitting there? Should they be all together so that we can put these boys through the ranks?
I think they should be together so that they can share their idea. They can share, like, they can put the team together. Because this thing of someone being there, the other being there, meaning we're not working together. We're talking about national. Those are representing South Africa.
Okay, guys, Masi, welcome to the show. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing well, and yourselves?
I'm good, thanks. Masi, under 20s did very well. How do you feel about that team? And is this destined to be another generation that maybe doesn't make it that much to the national team, the big boys?
Okay, firstly, I want to say I watched all the matches that were broadcast on YouTube, COSAFA, and they were really good. They didn't concede. They scored 16. I think my favorite player was, Mbegezele Mbogazi from Pirates. As a Sundowns fan, I actually don't think Pirates is gonna release him. Pirates is gonna release him to Sundowns. But that kid, a solid defender. What I wanted to say with what she just said, I feel like we have better access to the GDL than the NFD. Like the GDL, if I want to watch a match, I know I can go to the SuperSport Schools app. I'll get it there. NFD. And I'll give you an example. When the DDC was starting, they took this all over South Africa. I remember one time they brought it to Sinaba in Davidson because they wanted it to be closer to the people. The tickets were free. Let me tell you, those stadiums were empty. South Africa is not a footballing nation. And let me tell you, Sinaba is not a stadium where people even need to take taxis to get there. You just walk. And, we can say that. I remember one time you said your Pirates and your Chiefs, they don't go to the communities anymore. But when the PSL does bring something to the communities don't take that. They just like, we're not showing up. And what can you say? In a country where we always say there's high unemployment, you are getting free entertainment and you're still not going to see that. Well, understand. Today, there was a CHAN qualifier. Bafana Bafana is not going to be there. I don't know if SAFA took a strategic decision that CHAN is for players that are playing in Africa, in Africa.
In the local leagues, yeah.
So as the PSL is the strongest league in Africa, aren't we supposed to be having players there? If we are saying, okay, clubs don't want with their senior players, we have a DDC, we have an NFD, then why don't we take those DDC players and take them to CHAN? That's another thing where I say, I feel like SAFA is there, but as a country, we are not a footballing country. There are certain things that we should be getting on top of before the other countries, because the other countries are coming. Tanzania, I think I commented, they took their under-12s to China to go play. And you don't see that happening with us.
Yeah.
Like, the way we are so close to Lesotho and Botswana, and yet we'll play those countries once a year. And even then, it's because we are preparing for COSAFA. I liked what they did this year with the Lesotho under-17s coming to South Africa and our under-20s going to Lesotho. We could do that more frequently just to see where our players are. You see, so I don't think as a country we take football that seriously, and we always complain about rugby and what being number one, but those people take rugby seriously. Like a SuperSport app, I feel like they could try to get either the DDC, because they can't get the NFD there because it's a school app. Like I'm saying, if you want to watch this Saturday, the the women's GDL is finishing. You'll see that on the SuperSport app. But I'll tell you, I don't know what's playing the Motsepe League. And I don't even know where to go watch that.
So how do we get
I
the
feel
love
like Safa
back?
can also go the YouTube. Huh?
Oh, no, you can go on.
I feel like a lot of leagues are also going the YouTube route. So because I don't want to complain and not bring solutions. So for NFD, since we're not getting people to watch, put it on YouTube. That's how the women's Hollywood Bet is being streamed on Facebook, and some of them are then uploaded on YouTube. Then people in their time, they can just watch. So I feel like they can just put those on YouTube.
Do you feel there's a disconnect between all of these things? From what I'm hearing, it's almost like everybody's on their own. DDC is their own thing, NFT is their own thing, PSL is their own thing. Some are on an app, other ones are not. Is that maybe the problem with our football, that maybe all of these things should be in line and working together? So, for example, if I have a very good DDC kid who can't get into the first team, surely I could loan him to an NFT team that maybe might be struggling with money, for example. Then we bring you some talent and you can give that talent some game time. We save you. You get what I mean? Are we missing those links all the way through?
Actually, this is what, when I think Sundowns loaned Sekhukhune a player, ne? But they only loaned them the player after they had lost. I feel like South African teams, everyone is just out for themselves. If it was those Moroccans, they would have seen Sekhukhune is actually lacking in some departments, and they would have loaned them players even before. That is what Vele is happening. Safa Gauteng has their baby, they are focusing on their GDL. The others, they don't have the resources, they always cry about resources, no one cares what's happening there. And even Safa, even as the head, they are not coming in and saying, okay, you guys don't have resources, let's give you this. Okay, let's televise your matches. Okay, something maybe to help you. Okay, you may say you don't have this, let's split your region if it's too big. Like the Northern Cape, they could split that into 2 or 3 regions. Then you can then form your own leagues. But I feel like even Safa is like, if you guys are not doing it, Natu, we are not doing it. And the big clubs are also like, Nata season gain.
Is it unfair is it unfair that a lot of the teams are coming from, a lot of these players are coming from a DDC, for example, when maybe not fair, but is it a good enough bar for an under 20, for example, that you're coming from the DDC?
I feel like this is why we needed the Chan thing, so that we can see if our DDC is actually that strong. Because now they're playing against each other. No one knows if they would even win an COSAFA COSAFA Cup. Bafana went to the COSAFA Cup. I don't even think they were in the final. You see, and they went with like young players. So if we are not taking these players to go play continental football or to go play abroad, how will we know?
No, Masi, thank you so much. Let me go to let me bring in Papi. Papi, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm good in yourself, brother.
No, I'm okay. Papi, under 20 has won.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you perfectly. Under 20 has won a trophy. They're going to AFCON. How do you feel about the under 20? And then how do you feel about youth development as a whole in SA, especially with under 20s and maybe a pipeline to Bafana Bafana?
Guys, let's stop hiding by the bush. Why I'm saying this is because of the development here in South Africa. They don't have that much of a support These boys, as you just said, they've won something. And then what is it after that? What's going to happen after that? Who's going to monitor them after that? And not only being monitored, who's going to encourage them to do better than what they've just achieved? And then saying that, what's going to happen towards the Bafana Bafana squad? Are they going to be considered? Before the Bafana Bafana squad, there's under 23, if I'm not mistaken. Are they going to be considered to be under 23 or to Bafana Bafana? How many of them are going to make it to Bafana Bafana squad? So there's a lot of loopholes of questions to understand what's going to happen to them after that. Now, being honest, they're the only players that they were best in a sense of doing well from under 20, 23. It was the squad Sabo Chabupule when they beat Brazil way back.
Was it
And I
Matthew
remember we
Booth?
were all celebrating.
No.
And
Oh,
there
yeah.
was no enough support. It's strong. Yes, that squad. What happened to them after that? What happened to them after that? We went to 2010 Soccer World Cup. Where were they by that time? We can blame their ill disciplineness of whatever as individually, but what does the SAFA and the PSL team does to make sure that they monitor these boys? They make sure that they these boys. What does the mascot does? What does these boys? It's a single player who misbehave and then misbehave. The whole country comes to this
Hey, Papi,
person
I think your network.
on top of his shoulders, and then must say, "We never put enough on these people."
I think for time, Papi, I'm gonna take you off. Please
Hello?
jump back on. Please jump back on. I think your network is just doing something there. Let me check with Malume Kutu. Malume Kutu, can you hear me?
Mina ngiyakuzwa Mr. Uthi ngisho nawe uyangizwa.
I know. Then I'll just say, Papi, request again and come back. Maybe the network will be fine. Malume Kutu, welcome to the show. How are you?
Nandi kunjani Mr. Uthi?
I'm Magimdandi. Malume Kutu, under 20. How do you feel about that team? What they've done? And how do you feel about, the structure of all of these youths and under 20s and all of that stuff? How do you feel about it in the country?
It's okay. It's okay. Congratulations to them. They should win it, given the opponents, Mr. Uti. Even though I feel as if the selection process leaves much to be desired, Mr. Uti. It's not the one. Mr. Uti. I literally know a couple of good players who the selector should be exposed to.
Okay.
But they're not selecting them. A couple of good players, Mr. Uti. And I'm sorry, I look at that team. I know we are asking where to from here, but I look at that team and think, what a short team. And at some point, people must compete, Mr. Uti. Amapena and Aboshandre, both vilakazi, they must compete for that position. We can't have so many people playing one position and we end up, if I'm forced to throw Uri and Oshabalala in the same point and end up playing with 5 left-footed players, they must compete. And we must distribute scouting across the country, even just across the regions, Mr. Which I don't think it's enough. And I wouldn't say NFT is not broadcasted. I think NFT is just not watched. I think I'm a NFT Super Sport, Mr. Huti. If people really want to watch them during the week, you can watch the NFT. I think even on weekends, I think it's one or something. So if you are really confident about supporting the NFT, you go on Super Sport. Last time I checked, they even have an NFT show on Friday. So if we're really genuine in saying NFT this, NFT that, the platform is there. You can watch it, Mr. Uti. The only issue with ABC Motsepe League is that it's a provincial league. It's not a national league. So you would have to find a way to distribute your eyes across our province, the 9 provinces, and there are respective leagues and streams. It's very difficult to broadcast ABC Motsepe, Mr. Uti. Yeah, no, it's crazy business. And also, unfortunately, with ABC sometimes, just like with Hollywood Bets, is the lack of organization, Mr. Uti, because it's really amateur level, if we're being honest. So we can say semi-amateur, in the sense of Uti. The people playing lapha nama team sometimes uyofika uzoreva kuna ground. It's called ground. Do you think SuperSport will take a gamble? That gamble to
they took a gamble on Tira. No, I'm kidding. Yeah.
You get what I mean? And it didn't pay off. So they'll look at that and think, they look at that and think, okay, maybe if SuperSport is available, a specific team will be pressed to say, okay, SuperSport yeza, baba check it Thursday, which yonke into sihamba ngomumo. Mr. Uti yazi into ezenzakala kuma NFT not NFT ama ABC nama SAP. Thola mathi mamesha ngamakawusi Mr. Uti yakudlalwa. Akudlalwa. Thola mathi mamesha ngekit. Banimeli home team imeli away team cala ukomapha. Away meyidakiwe nje ingena uyomapha ngejezi ezohlala ngabantu abaqoka i-red nathi singena nge-red. Away believe la 2 jerseys alinalo ijezi lesi-2 akudlalwa. Bona i-ABC, that's why even Nojomo said PSL must look into this. When you are down there, Mr. Uti kuyafiwa. You will the rule book is used more than the soccer field, Mr. Uti. Like, so to try and say we should broadcast the ABC, it's going to be difficult. But I still maintain.
So, Marabekuzo, are we making it a broadcasting convo when maybe it should be a partnerships convo? Maybe it should be an organizational convo that I don't know how much effort it would take, but surely organizing those things is a lot more easier. Creating partnerships between teams should be a lot more easier. Those type of things, man.
Partnerships between which teams? The competing teams?
No. I'm just saying, like, for example, I'll just use NFT because SAP. Let's use NFT. I don't have money. Kuto's got a PSL team that's got a DDC players, that's got DDC players that don't have game time at the high level. Surely we can communicate and say, you know what, send me a couple of players, keep them warm, give them a higher competition than DDC, then you guys come in. Surely we can do those type of things.
Yeah, but remember, Mr. Uti, team lanka makula, agu NFT, aksama development. Understand, Mr. Uti? They are also trying to go higher in life. They are not just there. Yeah, but all I'm saying is you can't strike a deal where you short string them, if I may. That would be short stringing them. They want those players for keeps also and for sales, Mr. Uti. And there are already those partnerships with willing teams. They might not be as loud, but we can see which here there's a partnership. For example, the Orbit and the Pirates. You can see Pirates is sending players down there with Orbit. Amaning foot. Surely there's something going on. I think there was a team that Chiefs once sent Abu Shopan and Abu Lisako too. So you could see which maybe here. I think it was Cape Town King. A team from Cape Town, I remember at the time, Mr. Uti. Yeah. But it can't. We can't turn the NFT into kind of king. This thing, can I be saying DDC, Mr. Uti? NFT is serious business.
No, I'm not NFT saying all of them. I'm not saying all of them. But remember, we had that conversation where I'm like, I'm 19. I don't have a look into the first team. I am above the level of this team. I can't bench. Like Chiefs was benching them at a time for a year, 2 years. Surely, man, you could send them there, and I think there'll be some teams that would be happy to have gotten a Tshwane last year, for example, or a Mabena right now. You get what I mean? Not necessarily all of them.
that's the business end, and the chuchis are my agent, Mr. Uti. That's where the real ones have to come in, Mr. Uti, and say, okay, I'm gonna find a club for my player, not necessarily that I'm gonna have it act as my feeder team. And we do see it, Mr. Uti. Actually, some of the things that we mentioned, we do see it, but it's just on a smaller scale, or just not on the teams that we like. There's a player that Kimang Sibanyon, who's now at Richards Bay. I think last season he was at Tax, and he was doing extremely well. He's actually a Sundowns player, Mr. Oti, and has been on the books of Sundowns for some time. We've seen same thing, same team is Kanakimang Umkuma. Promise Mkuma also made his way to Tax from Sundowns, and a couple of players made their way from Sundowns to Tax. So those things do exist, and we actually saw how it hurt Tax when they had to play Sundowns. I think they couldn't field 4 or 5 players, if not 3. But at the same breath, you have to understand which you might pay these guys with Nedbank. Therefore, you don't want to be seen as a development album, Mr. Woods. You also want autonomy, which now we club a Pele, Mr. Woods, not in the NFT. I get what you mean. Maybe SAP, but when it comes to SAP and ABC, these teams actually have their own teams. I know Skukune has their own team in the ABC Motsepe. Sundowns has their own team. Kind of King M Tigers, which
they're trying to get rid of it. Yeah,
if they haven't sold it. In yesteryears, they were related to Paktawana. They're associated to Als Paktawana. Then you have Pirates, which yesteryears had Iebo, yes, and currently has Ipele Pele, Mr. Uti. These things, man, Mr. Uti, is gone. It's just that maybe we are not exposed to them the way it's funanga con. And by the way, khona lo sis lo bathu Mogadi usilahlela ama-coin ngithanda ukubonga, but hey, every time someone throws me a rose or something, I feel like I have to twerk or something. I'm a stripper. Thank you, Mr. Uti.
Hey, Oliver Kusa has to go to the bank bar. Hey. Okay, guys, we're going to get into the second topic. Second topic is Bafana Bafana. Hugo Bruce, of course, announced the team that is going to be taking part in the AFCON qualifiers. Match day 3 is going to be versus Congo. And then on the 11th, then on the 15th, we're going to go to Congo and play Congo again in those AFCON qualifiers. And I want to speak about that team, how we feel about it. There's some drama that happens with Jaden Adams, who was left out because of not arriving on time, not pitching to the thing, but has been replaced by Obas. And of course, we are sitting second in the group. Drawn points with Uganda, so 4 points each. Then Congo's got 3 points, and then South Sudan brings up the rear with 2 losses, no points. Let's speak about how we feel about this Bafana Bafana team and how we feel about these games. Last time, we had some really tough games, unnecessarily tough, some of them, but they were tough nonetheless. Let me go to Prastomi. Prastomi, welcome to the show. How are you? Na Prastomi. Oh, grand, Prastomi. Tell me, Prastomi, now Bafana Bafana, I'm going to start where I left off. How do you feel about the team? Actually, before I say that, let me give you the team. Let me tell everybody the team. So the Bafana team that was chosen: Ronan Williams, Ricardo Goss, Sipo Chain as the goalkeepers. Defenders: Sydney Mobi, Nkosinathi Sibisi, Kuriso Mdau, Aubrey Mudiba, Grant Kekana, Tabiso Sesane, Rashwin Totli, Fawaz Pasadine. Midfielders: we have Tebogo Mokwena, we have Kwaiba from Chipa United, we have Mbata Obas coming in from Bata, Luke Leroux. Then forwards: we have Oswin Apolis, Elias Mokwana, Temba Zwane, Lyle Foster, Tito Rile, Ikram Reinas, Tapelo Morena. Prastomi, how do you feel about this team? Yeah, but what's happening, guys? There we go. Sure. How do you feel about this team, Prastomi?
Welcome. It is a great team, Gandhi. I won't lie to you. I'll be lying to say the only problem in this team because I think it is well balanced because when you check in midfielder, it's players from different players. I mean, from different teams, except in Mokwena the edition opens in that midfield. Back tabs. Otherwise, it seems so different because I've seen Ngati Bandi chance. Then going forward, up front, Simnand because you can tell, but if we can start players in three club front ngaphandle, then when you substitute one of them or two of them, a team will still trail and play ngale ndlela nifuna idlale ngayo. But ke ngoku I'm a bit worried by a back line because I think kwicala center backs because ithetha ukuthi kuzawunyanzeleka uba si-sacrifice so much uba sicontinueshe ngodlala mhlawumbi eziyi-2 esazibona that they're ticking because ucoach ngofuneka ajongile who's gonna tick between uDorle noGrant Kekana okanye uGrant Kekana with uSibisi. But again, I don't think uSibisi uzawufumana igame now. Honestly speaking, I think it's adding numbers because coach explained role edlalwa nguSibisi to be present in the team, even though nowakadlali. So bendihalela if bekuthiwa sinaye a better centre back to add the number there. Otherwise, when you go and check with left side, is Mnandi we left back because we have Upasedini no Aubrey. Then when you check kwecala se right, kulapho ke ngoku I think ndinaye a big problem because sinayo uMudawu but we need a very strong competitive player ezakwazi udlala when singakwazi umsebenzisa one of the games because you'll find out uba sizawunyanzeleka sidlalise uMudawu ongafumananga game time that is enough in the team leyasuka kuyo efana ne-Sundowns. So uyabona ke ngoku ezo they will become tricky but ke ngoku coach kuzawunyanzeleka I'd go back to ayodlalisa uMudawu because yiyona player azobe eyithemba ngoku. But when you go and check iplayer esokudlala recently la favorite yakhe uNyiko uyabo. Yeah, otherwise akho problem kule team. I'll be lying when ndikhangela fault because it's always what we do thina football supporters. We always criticize without any solutions. When we cannot say the thumbs up when things are going right ngale ndlela sifuna ngayo. So mna uthi specifically kwi-team le ndiyibonayo i-grand but I'm so disappointed uba uJaden Adams is not there regardless uba kwenzeke ntoni, what is the story between him and the coach. I am very disappointed because when you go and check uAdams ebengamdlalisi kwi-national team but ngoku kufuneka ijonge situation ithini. You have so much players obuthembele kuzo. One zikwi-injury, ezinye they don't get enough time with teams zidlale enough. Just for example uTebza, we are talking about Tebza. He is playing a vital role to the team and he's a very important player to the team. Now when you have a player for noTebza ingadlali, then uzawusuke udlalise yena and want to combine him with nabantu abangaqalanga ukudlala nawo, abantu abafana noLeroy ababasuka eSweden baphikwe. Now it will be easy unayo le player that uyazi uba regularly iyadlala kwi-team yayo regardless uba kuthiwani ii-players amadlali that are always
But do we have those players, Prasto? Do we have those players? Because I feel as though we chop and change the bench a lot. And when we do give them a chance and they come onto the pitch, sometimes you can tell who man, he's not quite ready. Even though they are called. It goes to
the saying, I am disappointed in Ukosa had to let go Adams. Even though Adams is a national team, his presence now train, we are the team, how does it work? Team and the instructions coaches, what is the plan coach with the team? Now you go outside, you go and seek for someone else for that introduce. So at times it is very wrong but emotions to discipline. We know it is very important to discipline. At least about discipline I train a side so that a message is sending not that I said once make a mistake was a team jonga ngoku we look ii-coaches ezifana nabo-Hans Flick. Hans Flick punished for being late unantsika uJules Kounde. Uyazi into eyenzileyo, he put him in the bench khangathi makagoduko. He put him in the bench. Yathi when the game progresses xa iphaa ko-16 he introduced him to the game so that as players yazi uba even noba kuthiwa singabe siyakuxosha awukwazi ufika on time, siyakwazi ukubhentsha ungadlali ngosiyazi uba uregular. So at times we always say coach everything ayenzayo right okokoko because we believe ngenxa yoba sithe sofika kwi-semi-final. So every decision azayithatha we need to say okokoko sinqala intloko sithi ayi-right, of which is I think mna personally andifuni ndi-impose this opinion ebantwini. Personally mna I have the problem with that because I don't understand why he figured to that extent.
Let me go choose Pass. Welcome to the show. How are you?
OT, come on, John.
Man, Gimnandis. Bafana Bafana, how do you feel about the team and how do you feel about our game versus Congo? 2 games.
It has conditions. That's always bugs me playing in Africa. That's something that they always intend to use at their own advantage against us because of their conditions and weather. But that's for the squad. I do trust the team. The team is fine for me. I can't complain about anything. It's a national team. It's not club level where when someone doesn't perform, can keep him in a club. They can regroup. It's a national team where you got 3 or 4 games. You need best players right now at the moment to get results. So this is a coach that brought dignity to our team that has been humiliated for a very long time. And I do trust him in every way. So I can't complain about the squad. Yes, the games against Congo away from home, because we are very strong at home. And we seem to get more result from home than away. But I don't think they can give us that much threat to lose. I do see us winning 1, maybe draw 1. But it has conditions, and I don't like away from home mostly because they intend to use that advantage against us, and they intend to even referees and everything. Sometimes they get that from us where we get ref unfairly, where you have to play with 12 men. So that's the only problem I've got. But with the team, I'm fine with it. I can't complain. It's a national team. You need to get players that can perform instantly and get results. And I think we've got those players. I can hear you, but you disappeared. I can hear you, but you're too far away. Can you say that again? It's not bad results away from home. If you look at the table, if they draw, they get into 5 points. That will depend on what happens to Uganda and Sudan. Of which they still get a second spot. Of which a goal difference from us, we got a better contestant than Congo anyway. So if they draw, they're still better than that. But they just don't have to lose for me.
Hi, host. I'm good. Can you hear me? Yeah, I can hear you. I can say I'm happy, but I'm not happy. Okay, let me say the happy side. Okay, we understand that. And like, let me say it straight, I'm not happy. Number one, in the middle, the time we called, who's this? This is this player from Sundowns, and he's not playing. Who's this? He replaced him. Yeah, Abbas. Yes, Abbas. Abbas akadlali, man. Abbas akadlali. He's not playing. At least he was supposed to call at least Kutsie. At least because Kutsie has been playing. You understand? To be balanced because Abbas is not playing. And vele even I can check. Uzoqala ngo-Abbas vele to the game yaseCongo. Uzoqala ngaye. There's no vele success esingasekinye. And again, site la mdawo, there's no competition. Like you can't tell me about Mobi, man. Mobi, you are better. You'll never compete na mdawo. I was like hoping Abize ufan Royal lapha. You understand? Because Fan Royal at least Umdawo is going to get a competition no Fan Royal. As the previous speaker ishilo ukuthi Umdawo is not Umdawo akana a competition and it's going to be a danger because sometimes like these days is not playing games. So who's going to replace him? Mobi? No, come on. So that's what I'm trying to say. And again, we need 6 points. We need 6 points. We need 6 points so that we can be safe. Some teams what they will we need to focus on our games. Which is win, it's well as qualify. You understand? Hey, Lentole sometimes host level because you can play overseas, but are you consistent in the team? Are you playing in we have a problem, especially Utoli? For me, man, personal, for me, that boy. You understand? Because of yena nongezane lapha, they've cost us. We have conceded 2 goals in 2 games. That's mean that shoot our we considered 4 goals in a group. So it shows Guti that center back pairing is a problem. And if you can check those goals, they come from Emilini, shooter through the center backs. So it shows Guti in that center back pairing, there was a big, huge. And I mean, for me, not Guti Nyamjelu coach Afageban, but Usisane no Krankekana. It will be better. That center back. Angamfaka uToli. Ubani whatever the ntwana le yase Kaizer Chiefs le. Because of the experience akanayo that boy. Uyadlala mara for a higher level. It's like ungene too fast to the level of Bafana Bafana. It's too fast. It's like ungene nje boom. And out here there's still players. Yes, Usisane yes angali ukuthi the first call up yakhe, but you can see he's been consistent. Even the previous last season, game he's been playing. The season he's been playing now CAF. So you can't compare Usisane nalentwana le Utoli. You understand? That's what I'm saying, Guti. Uripo needs to check Guti. Ule game le Uganda, nale game le in this team we played, Sweden. You considered 4 goals. You considered 4 goals out of 2 games. So you must be careful. They are paying center backs. I need to be careful and check who's the consistent one. Like Osesan and Okren Kekana, they've been playing consistent. And Okren Kekana experience, he brings experience. Comfortable on the ball, rotating at the ball. Niena no Osesan, they're very comfortable. awudoli no Ngezane ayiyabona ukuthi means bayiphethe ball, they're not comfortable. And ukhonjubani the goalkeeper Williams, look at these center backs adlala kabo libusa bakaphasana, but he always give people who are comfortable on the ball. So cabanga lento la udoli no Ngezane, it's going to be a problem there.
Hayi banoluza batho bao. Yeah, batoluza. And ska umfile 2 minutes ne ke tla bua lilo quicknyana ke bua the long sentence. I'll just give you the intro bit by bit. Nna for nna, anyone as a land squad aleng over 30 years ha ke matle that squad thing. That's a waste of our time. Yeah, kaofela uzwane o mang, as long even if lontsona le bad experience a ko batle squad thing. Now, batho ba baholo bao, they should be playing for their teams, local teams, ba qetelle di career tsa bona. Because now imagine if bazala jwale ba injured, clipa tsa bona di tlo wa ke ntwe tse tse. And how do we expect ball ya rona in South Africa e hole ntse re zadisa bontate moholo? Bentse re rentse re he re proud ka country round. That's a waste of our time. And then enngwe ko reng South Africa. Yeah. It will never be a shock because and it has never been done before. As long as Bontate Molubans Bazal impressive football local teams in Sabon, they are still favorites of Bazal. And let me give you an example. No one is gonna take Zwane's position. Bruzo Traile we prove they can take it from him. Now Enwe Hape Koring Bafana Bafana will never make us proud as a country. Whilst Pirates, the Sundowns, Nzedile around. Bafana Bafana never play an ultimate level football as long as those two teams are still around. Because those two teams, kids on carrying our country's flag outside our nation. Now imagine Sundowns on second World Cup. And then Carlo Mzansi, he has not been qualifying for how many years? Into qualify for World Cup. World Cup say 2-0. Into qualify South Africa. So we can't rely on Batwana. They need to change Bonak Ofel and Hugo Bruce inconsistent. Because so far he's been saved by Mamelodi Sundowns players. They've been saving him. Now, Lintwene haya inconsistency answer selected player about Osaba. Has been trying his has he ayetseng player tse ngata bona le ntwe e yentseng ka Ntwane kana o sala ka Ntwane ba reng etswa Stellenbosch. What is his name? Yeah, just because fela Ntwane itlele late se le go fela ha ke a o tlatsa go ntsha scheming, but he's even out. They hardly ever played local teams in Sabona. There's no communication teaming, there's discrepancy teaming, and there's loyalty more teaming. Team and all play happy. Before was not Matata who selected player. And these players that's most. They've been disappointing us. We survived the 2 games but in the late goals so imagine now a coach and the right. Go here, what color is the post? Kid decided to want some South Africa. I never batlang. It will always be played by Orlando Pirates, Le Mamelodi Sundowns, Bole Rebatlang as a nation.